Good afternoon, everybody. We have a pleasure to be here all together, and also we have the opportunity to share this amazing panel with these high-quality experts in the areas of digitalization and continuous improvement. So we're going to start. Of course, if you have some kind of question, do not hesitate. I would like to start with you, Gorka. Gorka is coming from MotoGP. He's going to introduce the project. What kind of projects are you doing right now? And also, in an organization like MotoGP, very different from the football club that I came from, how do you prioritize this kind of strategy in terms of digitalizations?
Okay, well, thank you everyone for coming and for the invitation, of course. That's an interesting one. Like, we are quite unique when it comes to a sports entity, because we are at the same time a competition, we are a brand, and somehow we are even the sport, because we kind of centralize all the major two-wheels motorsports when it comes to road racing. So the first thing that we need to take into consideration when we do projects of digitalization and innovation is, are we doing it for the brand, for the championship itself, or for what? So that's the first one. The second one that I would say that we always focus on is, does it has a direct impact into our stakeholders? We have three major stakeholders, which are the promoters, the circuits, the broadcasters, and third, the partners that we work with. So that's the second step. Like anything that we take into consideration when it comes to new investment, we need to focus. And finally, I would say, what's the ROI, right? We try to build methodologies that constantly change, for sure, and we try to weight in every single thing. Is it going to have a direct effect in monetization? Is it affecting data collection, fan engagement? So we try to put some numbers to try to do it as scientific as possible, because otherwise it's unlimited what you can do right nowadays for investment.
Super, very interesting. As we have talked previously to the panel about the different point of view in MotoGP, which is the organization is the owner. This is a very good point of view. So Miguel, where are you working in right now in Villarreal? What are you focused?
Well, thank you, Juan, for the presentation, and thank you, everyone, to be here. As a part of the digital strategy of Villarreal, our main task always is to be introducing and analyzing all the digital and technology ecosystem around sports facilities with two lines or two verticals. One of them is make easier the life and the task of our different areas, but at the same time always trying to enhance the fan engagement, the experience of our fans in the stadium, in our different digital assets. So every day trying to be close to the cutting edge in order to improve and to be at the top.
Oh, thank you so much. So Borja was coming from MidHub. I would like to introduce MidHub to the panelists and also to the rest of the people, because it's very interesting and also a different approach to the club or an institution like MotoGP.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's quite weird to be here because I am coming from the science field and I'm completely out of my comfort zone. But we have created MedHub 4 to 5 months ago. And MedHub stands for the house or the hub of metabolism. And what is metabolism? Everybody have heard the word metabolism. But metabolism is what happens cell to communicate and to live. And understanding what is happening within the cell, I think we can find important solutions to our society. Based on, because everybody knows that doing exercise is good for your health, right? It's like, yeah, let's do exercise, it's good for you. But nobody knows how exercise makes you feel better, why exercise is helpful for you. And understanding the molecular mechanisms behind, we are able to detect novel targets that can be used for the future to develop new drugs or something like that, to do kind of mimetics of exercise, trying to give to people who cannot perform the exercise kind of the beneficial effects of doing that. We are 4 persons that are coming from different backgrounds. We have David Gutierrez, who is the community manager strategy and the marketing. We have Aitor Viribay, who is the head performance of the Neo Grenadiers. He's like a pro cycling tour team that is working with Tom Pidcock, and he's now preparing the Tour of France. And also with Adrián Castillo, who is like a leading director of FISAC, which is like a journal based on science to communicate to the society. And in my case, that I am just a pure scientist. I am a Ramon y Cajal Fellowship, and we are working in a public institution doing experiments to try to really make groundbreaking discoveries. Based on that, we are able to create new solutions and to test it. And this is something that I found in this summit quite interesting, that a lot of people are preparing technology, but the technology has not been validated properly. And we don't know if is this working or not working. So in that sense, I think we have a strong background that we can really validate the MVPs that we are doing, and then that can build up in other companies that can be growing in parallel of what we do.
So very interesting. We're very worried about the metabolism, personally and also for our players, our sporters. So, Martin, what about you in Real Sociedad? What are you focused right now in digitalization terms?
Well, first of all, thank you all for coming, and thanks a lot for the invitation. Well, I'd say the main focus right now is the strategy. I mean, being capable of setting up a strategy and being able to develop that strategy. There's a key point in our case that our department is within the business department, not any other department that it's something that we know that happens in other cases. That's crucial when we're setting up the strategy, because our strategy is mostly divided in 3 different phases. First of all, being capable of reaching as much audience as possible. And we're setting up a strategy where we're enhancing the kind of content that we're developing in our digital channels, where we're reaching through new languages in our digital channels, in our social networks, and so to new audiences all through the world. We're speaking over 8 languages right now in our social networks. And for instance, as key data, right now, we've had over 1 billion video views in season 23-24, which is a huge success for us, absolutely. So that's the first point. We need to be one of the most important teams in the Spanish league in that sense, in being capable of reaching as much audience as possible. But that leads to the second phase, which is generating as much engagement as possible. I mean, we need to redirect all those followers into followers that we make contact with through a single sign-on that we're right now developing, and so that we can personalize the kind of communications that we're sending proactively to each of them, and also being capable of creating relevancy to those users. And that's crucial in our strategy. We're not just giving the same messages to everyone, but we're trying to personalize the messages as much as possible. And finally, obviously, since we're within the business department, the monetization is crucial in that sense. So when we're talking about monetization in digital strategy, mostly we divide it in 2 different phases. First of all, we have the indirect monetization that we may be talking about different assets that are happening within the club, like online ticketing, like online merchandising. Since we're enhancing, since we're setting up different marketing online campaigns, we're enhancing all those digital sales, and that's so important for us. And on the other hand, we are also beginning to work with direct incomes from in that sense. And in that sense, for instance, we've developed a project related to NFTs, where we're selling different digital plots of our pitch so that our users can buy them and can participate in different prices, different rewards, such as season tickets, and so on. So yeah, that's mostly our way to focus the digital strategy, trying to receive it as much as possible.
Oh, so, thank you, all of you. It's very interesting. Let me share with you some kind of point that we have in Sevilla FC, on Sevilla FC Innovation Center. No? One of our ideas is try to connect the whole value chain. That means we have external clients, that means fans, and also internal client. That means the person who are running the process internally into the club. So the idea is how can we connect from inside outside and outside through inside all the value chain. So this is one of the key points that we are offering right now. And also, we have the opportunity in the sport ecosystem because it's a very multi-plural way of business. We are working with doctors. We are working like physical performance, but also we are working like media. We are working like social media. We are working like fan engagement and ticketing process. So one of the great things that we have into the sports, into club, into competition is the possibility to create a lot of added value in different streams. So it's very, very interesting. One of our challenges in Sevilla Innovation Center try to connect all the value chain. So one of the points was to create a transversal area in order to be able to create our own technology and also to share this technology internally with different areas and also to have the possibility to commercialize. That means to bring this technology to the rest of the ecosystem in order to share the knowledge. Because one of the key points, from my point of view, into the sport ecosystem, as much as we grow, as much as we earn. So the idea is how can we grow together? This is the part of the ecosystem. So following with that, I would like to ask to Gorka, in MotoGP, what are the fans really appreciate? That means, what are they want?
Yeah, that's an interesting one because we have a challenge. We basically are a global sport. We go all over the world. We have 4 Grand Prix in Spain, and then 2 in Italy, but then we go to 16 different countries where you have just 1 event per year. That means that you are a fan of a sport, either you go to that event or you're going to miss it until next year. And sometimes we have huge challenges because you can be in a place in a country where the circuit is 2,000 kilometers away from you. So I would say that what our fans value the most is to feel close to the racing and to the event itself. That's probably what we are battling for. When we create new D2C products, we create new experiences, we do gamification options into our website, our app, or any new initiative we create, at the end of the day, it has the purpose of bringing the fan closer to that grandstand that can be in Australia, in Indonesia, or wherever in the world. And that's probably a challenge because you got just a couple of shots. You got a couple of shots because at the end of the day, you have 22 Grand Prix. That means 22 weekends per year. So you need to make sure that you maintain, probably like all of you guys, right? The momentum before the race, which is before the game, after the race, after the game. And that's what we are aiming for. We need to make sure that our fans are connected to us in any possible way. Either if it's sometimes through MotoGP, through the local broadcaster, through the promoter, through the Red Bull can that they are going to drink. So we need to maintain that connection at all times. So when we invest, we try to put that probably at the top of the funnel, like making sure that the fan doesn't feel that we just connect to them when we go to the region and we want them to come to the Grand Prix.
So very, very interesting. And Miguel, from your point of view, from your club, Villarreal, what do you think that the fans really want, or they are try to want? I mean, they want, but they don't know right now.
Yes, it's true that like other football clubs, always the score, the outcome of our first team, it's the most important thing. But at the end, we are always trying to improve their experience. For example, we are finalizing right now a big remodelation of our stadium. Inside, we have a new incredible scoreboards. The seats are more comfortable than before. We have more VIP space to active. And outside, we have right now 2 new restaurants, one store bigger than before. And just 2 weeks ago, we opened a new interactive museum. So at the end, we are trying to integrate, to grow more services to offer our fans, not only come to the stadium to watch the game, to trying to create an experience like in other sports. And our focus right now is try to offer as better as possible all the services that the club has to our fans in order to increase our loyalty, our experience with the club, the contact. So it is more or less the focus and the challenge at the same time.
So very, very interesting. Borja, let me jump to Martin. What do you think about the fans? What are they wanting right now?
Oh, in my case, you mean? No, in our case, sorry, because I thought you were referring to him. In our case, regarding to the fans, in our case, it's crucial segmentation of the contents. I mean, since we have over 18 million followers in our social networks, the point is that we need to focus each of the social networks and each of the digital channels with one specific purpose and to one specific segment. For instance, we've opened our WhatsApp channel just a month ago approximately. We have it very clear that we're not aiming a quantitative objective about getting as many followers as possible, because the WhatsApp channel is going to be focusing on our local target. I mean, we're going to send them useful information regarding the football matches. We're going to send them useful information regarding events that are going to be hosted in Real Arena. We're going to send them this kind of information about when the stores are going to be opened, and on and on and on. Obviously, we're also going to introduce different content related to sports events, but also we're going to also use WhatsApp so that we can implement content regarding our academy, the matches of our academy, that we're not going to use, for instance, TikTok in order to announce what's going to be the calendar of matches for the next weekend of our academy, our B team, our women's team, and on and on and on. We're going to use WhatsApp channel, and just using that as an example that can be also useful for many other countries. For instance, in Japan, we've opened our Twitter Japan, obviously through Takekubo. That has meant a huge boost for us in that market. It's a strategic market for us, whether Takekubo continues in Real Sociedad or not. But right now, we're the 7th European club with most followers in our Twitter Japanese account. So that's a huge success for us. So I'd say that, I mean, depending on not just regarding social networks, also, for instance, newsletters, we need to be relevant through our newsletters. And if we're going to send different messages through our newsletters, it has nothing to be if we have to send it to our local users or if we're sending it to our Mexican users, for instance. I think that's the main thing.
So, very, very interesting. Borja, let me have the opportunity to ask you something. How do you think that the metabolism and also your company could potentially help to the fans or to the people or to the, the professionals of the sports?
Yeah, I was listening to the conversation.
Or even, even if in the future we are going to take into account this kind of data coming from metabolism in order to improve our marketing strategies.
Yeah, and also I think from the point of view from the metabolism, we can improve the fan experience, even for soccer or for MotoGP. For instance, we have created a podcast which is called 90 Gramos. It sounds like a Pablo Escobar podcast, but it's not. The name comes from the weight of the lactate, which is 90 grams millimole. And with this story, we try to explain metabolism from different point of views and trying to explain how the body adapts, for instance, when you are doing apnea under the sea, or how during the pregnancy, what is happening in your body. And we explain from the beginning till the end of the procedure what is happening in the metabolism. So also we can explain when an injury is happening, how that injury happens, or why people think, okay, maybe pilots from MotoGP, they don't need to be so strong, but they don't understand you have a lot of G's and the gravity going on there. And also we have created like a new concept which we call banquetes, and it's like we tested recently in Arnedo, in La Rioja, and it was an event that we create before a race. And it was like a trail race, about 90 kilometers, for instance. And we did an event just the night before where we explained to the fans and the people who were attending to the race what is happening in the metabolism? And we put 2 people in a treadmill running until the extenuation, so they were running so hard with a mask that we were measuring volume of oxygen, we were taking lactate measurements, and we explained how metabolism works. And I think that this is something that fans and people want to know more about what is happening there. It's not just to having empty knowledge. We can educate them in different aspects that they will help and they will really appreciate that. For instance, in this event that we did in the theater, we did a sold out, and it was the first time that we did. 500 people watching an event of metabolism, 2 random people running in a treadmill. So this scenario can be adapted before a soccer match, before a MotoGP event, before whatever you can imagine, and adapting to the different type of sport, try to explain people what is happening in the metabolism, educate them.
Okay, very, very interesting. So looking for the future, what kind of challenge do you think are you going to facing up in your organization, Gorka? And also, what kind of risk we are afraid of?
Yeah, that's an interesting one. Like, instead of mentioning as a challenge, I will probably mention how are we trying to face the future. We're focusing on 2 key points for the upcoming years. First, on building new entry points for fans into the championship, into the MotoGP competition, because that's probably a tricky one, right? In a world where entertainment is unlimited, new content is unlimited, and time is quite limited, you need to stand out somehow, right? So probably something that we are working on together with partners, potential new partners, is on building new entry points for fans. Those entry points can be a piece of content related to metabolism, as Borja was mentioning. It can be a new virtual experience that you will probably resonate among a kind of new fan, or it can be a partnership with a non-endemic brand that will put your face in front of millions of new people, right? So that's probably the first one, trying to be in front of the fan wherever they are. And second one is hyper-personalization, I guess.
Hyper-personalization.
Again, and that's the risk that we all have. On a world of algorithms, on a world of, again, constant inputs that the fans keep receiving moment after moment, we are trying to be really, really specific when we talk to a fan. Either we talk to them through social media, through an email campaign, through a push notification, through an experience in the event, or whatever. We are trying to make sure that they feel unique. And that's a tricky one when it comes to investment, because you need to connect all your dots. So for us, we want to make sure that we can identify a fan that it was last week in the Italian Grand Prix, that this week is going to be watching the event in Sky Sports, and the Tuesday after the event, we'll check the results in MotoGP. So based on that consumption, we can talk specifically to that user. So one day, instead of sending 100 newsletters, we want to send 100,000 newsletters, changing the bold, changing capital letters, whatever feels that that fan is going to be unique, you know?
Miguel, what do you think that are going to be the next challenge?
Yeah, from our point of view, the biggest challenge is combine our fan base locally to international, make the experience digital and physical at the same time, because of everything that Gorka is saying. We were talking before, okay, how can I do that one fan who buys something in our e-commerce, next day, it's coming to the stadium, and we recognize him in our physical store. At the same time, how we can grow in our, we have some activation in other countries, like Academy with a new player, how to be able to find the recurrence with these fans. For us, is the key point in order to enhance and reach out better our fans, and step by step, but improving, and not only, we need to think outside the box in order not only be thinking about our result, our score on the pitch.
Really?
Yeah,
What
well,
are you gonna do?
I think, at least for us, the next challenges is to really make the discoveries that we do in the lab make something that is real for society. And in that case, we have two examples. One of them, we are focusing in skin temperature measurements. Try to control core body temperature is like a big hot topic now, but there is a huge problem. In the 80s, they showed that this is not going to predict anything, and I think it's not doing that. And in our lab, we have developed a technology with different engineer companies where we can monitor different parts of the skin body temperature at different places, and we can predict the performance. And that's also, we can predict if there is a calf, for instance, that is overheated, that can indicate that maybe an injury is happening there. Or in a MotoGP pilot, also we can see what is going on in terms of metabolism, if you need a specific type of hydration or not, or try to personalize these kind of things further. And also we have a story, a very beautiful story, with that now a patent has been granted, where we have discovered a gut bacterium in our intestines that increase muscular strength by 30% without doing exercise so far. And now together with a company, we are developing a nutraceutical product that we hope to help older people that they are having like a losing of muscle mass to have a booster, and also during performance. Because in performance also nowadays we are taking proteins, creatines, and this kind of stuff, but we believe that targeting the gut, we can increase also the power or the strength of people. And then for us, our challenge is to bring these discoveries to something that already has been validated, but something that is real, that society, clubs, people can use it.
Thank you. Martin?
I'd say the main challenge would be being conscious that we're within the entertaining industry. I mean, for us, for Real Sociedad, our rival is not Villarreal, for instance, can be MotoGP. From the point of view that when someone is going to consume something on television or social networks or whatever it is, it can also be a way of entertainment, it can be a sports, or it can be another kind of TV show too. So being conscious of that and being capable of adapting your contents and being capable of being relevant for those users, that the target is so many times the very same one, is our main challenge. And in order to achieve that, I believe that being capable of developing new brand territories, apart from, for instance, football highlights, for instance, in Real Sociedad, what we've been doing in the last season has been that we've been working with influencers related to cuisine, to gastronomy, and whenever we were going to play an important match, he was going to cook a recipe related to the football team that we were going to play with. So that obviously very related with our club, with our city, with our culture. The gastronomy is so important in Gipuzkoa, in Donosti. So being capable of developing this kind, I mean, obviously that has to be adapted to the idiosyncrasy of each of the teams, but being capable of developing those new territories, focusing in entertaining industry, I think that's probably one of the main challenges that we have from the upcoming years.
I fully agree with what all of you said, and it's very interesting to have the possibility to discuss here. From my point of view, one of the challenges that we have from the point of view of the club is try to understand that we are part of a huge ecosystem. That means the entertainment ecosystem, and also the culture of the new fans, of the new people, is different from my age, from my fathers, or even my grandfathers. So we have a miscellaneous of way of thinking, and also we need to be adaptable, and also we need to understand that we are offering entertainment. So the idea is, maybe right now we cannot go in alone. The idea is, how can we create this kind of strategic alliance in order to bring the opportunity to be with that? Because I don't know, but right now more people are multitask. And also our focus capacity, our scientist could confirm that, our focus capacity is decreasing. So the idea is, how can we impact in a short term, step by step, but not for me. Maybe via MotoGP, we can send the message, or via sport club, MotoGP can send the message. So we can create this kind of alliance in order to provide this kind of content, because one of the reasons is that the people don't want to follow this kind of entertainment. No? So from my point of view, I will really say thank you to all of you, because I think it was a very, very interesting panel. And it's an honor to have the opportunity to share this kind of ideas. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.